knew right away, split second, that I had changed my life forever. It's May 2018, and my wife said, let's hop on down to Mexico and go see a friend of ours down in Puerto Vallarta. She won a sales contest, and she rented a house for 6 couples, and they invited us. And so we went down there on a Monday, and on Tuesday we went for a terrific ATV run up and down the hills in the mountains of Puerto Vallarta, and then went to the beach afterwards. Somebody said, hey, let's go for an end of the day swim. I said, okay, great. So I'm doing, the slow man's jog into the ocean and getting ready to basically dive in. I was in about a foot of water, and the sand must have given way underneath my left foot, and my knee buckled. And I was like, whoa, and I tripped a little bit, and I tucked down and tried to do a roll, but I was too far down. So I didn't get down far enough, I didn't roll, and I hit my head, bam, snapped my neck like a twig, and I was immediately paralyzed. I knew immediately because I couldn't move my legs, but I could move my arms, and I thought, okay, great, but I couldn't really get up. I couldn't really do a push-up. So the waves are coming in. I'm just lying in the sand. I'm thinking, I don't know what to do right now. And so I popped my head up, took a big deep breath, and then just floated for about 15 or 20 seconds until I knew that my wife and a friend would come pick me up because they were swimming with me. And they came in, flipped me over. I said immediately to my wife, oh my God, I'm paralyzed. I'm so sorry, I'm paralyzed. She essentially hijacked a medical Learjet and flew me to the United States, to UCLA, to their ICU unit. I couldn't talk for a couple of days, and I felt completely alone, and yet people and family and friends were with me, and I couldn't communicate. And I've always thought, I'll communicate no matter what. I'll be able to do something, sign language, what have you. But I didn't have use of my hands really, or my arms. I couldn't move. All of a sudden I thought, oh my God, this is really real, and this is gonna be here. And then I would get into therapy, and they'd move me around, and all of a sudden I realized, well, I can't do that. And I wouldn't feel anything. I thought, well, that'll come back. But then at night, it wouldn't come back. 2 or 3 weeks into the ICU, I'm like, I'm crippled. I'm paralyzed forever. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? Who's going to help me? Will they help me? Am I going to become a burden? My life is over. And then literally, this nanosecond after I said that, I said, absolutely not. That's, I wasn't raised to be a quitter. I wasn't raised to accept defeat. That's my dad was a Marine drill sergeant. And a little of what he instilled in me was, it's all you, and you can do it. Something changed, and my focus was always on challenges. Every day I needed a challenge. Every moment I needed a challenge.
Oh my God. Oh my God, what did you just do?
So I needed to be an overachiever when it came to my rehab in every single way possible.
You're there.
I wanted my elbow to get in there more. Oh, fuck yeah, I did that.
You did that.
We all have endurance that we have no idea about. Every single one of us can go farther than we think we can go.
Thanks for the leverage.
And that pretty much took on a whole life of itself, because all of a sudden I went from this kind of chill guy to, all right, I need to do this. I'm not satisfied. I need to not fail, right? Because I don't know what my future life is going to be. And the last thing I want to do is to just sit there and be a mushroom in a closet and just hang out. And I, went through a lot of mental and physical processes to get myself in a position where I could go home. One afternoon, I'm just on my way to go outside, and the art therapist, this great guy named Chris from Kessler, came up to me and said, hey, Alder, what are you doing right now? And I said, I know who you are. I don't do art, I don't do therapy. Thanks very much. I'm on my, wheelchair, zooming away. He's like, no, dude, come back here. He's like, I really think you should go and join, my art therapy class. I'm like, I don't do that, but thanks very much. Come on now, you need to do this. I'm like, I don't do art, and I don't want to be shrunk, right? That's not my thing. I've got my gig going on right here. I'm in a good process. I've got it going on, I'm all set. And he said, Come on, what's a half an hour, 45 minutes out of your life? And I thought, all right, good question. This will be a little adventure for me. All right, Chris, let's go and do it. So we got into his little studio area, and then he took some small brushes and he put a little rubber tubing around it, which I use these days myself. And he put the brush in my hand and we dunked it into the paint. And I tell you, the most incredible thing happened. He put the paint to the paper, and all of a sudden, these colors and these shapes and these forms and these symbols just started flying out of my consciousness, and I was literally overtaken. It was literally a color rush. And I thought, whoa, what just happened? And then literally, as if it were a switch, he took the brush out of my hand. He's like, okay, 45 minutes are up. I was like, wait, that was like 20 seconds. Like the idea stopped. I was like, whoa, what was that? I said, so we're gonna be on for tomorrow, right? He said, we actually only do this once a week. I'm like, no, are you kidding me? So I kind of got him to give me a little bit more than once a week. It was twice a week. But I couldn't wait to do it. And I literally, after that, I would wake up every morning with ideas and thoughts, and things would just fly out of my head. And that happens to me to this day. When I got out of therapy, after I think it was 4, maybe 5 sessions, my sister, she had bought me an art kit.
He lit up. It was remarkable. But it was no time at all before he went way off on his own and started with the bigger canvases. And from my perspective, I was immediately blown away by his sense of color.
You know, I mean, I look at this and I go, oh, okay, that's great. How can I get, which colors, that color works together with that. These do not work together. This white is much more contrasted with this pink, this dark pink. And where does this go? Well, this purple actually works very well.
I would send him little blurbs about artists that I thought he might be interested in, examples of their work. If I would see something in his work that reminded me of an artist or a movement or whatever that he might not know anything about. And that was my joy, to do.
I painted for about a year. I would always ask my sister and my mother to critique my work, and they said, it's getting better, it's getting better. I ended up doing a lot of different types of paintings, from drip paintings to pouring to flinging it like Pollock. And then they started to take on more of a professional feel to them, not like just some kid woke up one day and started, flinging paint. Amy said, wow, this is good. Maybe people will be interested in seeing this. And so a pair of friends came over and they said, wow, we really like this. We know some people who own a gallery and we know the curator there, and we'll reach out to her, see if she's interested in maybe giving you a show or something. I thought was, yeah, right, not gonna happen. Thanks very much. I just kind of paint whatever it is that I'm painting. And lo and behold, the curator came over and she looked at my work and stayed for 2 hours. And she said, I like your work so much that I want you to have your own show. When I started painting and I had this color rush that I mentioned and just this flood of ideas coming out of my consciousness, I didn't think, oh my God, I'm an artist, I'm a painter right away. I thought, anybody can paint. Abstract is abstract, in my mind at that point was anybody can do this. Well, we all know that that's not the case. I didn't know that. And right after it, a great friend of mine, David Markey, who had an accident himself. He woke up out of surgery and things, and all of a sudden he literally had the same type of rush that I did. We went out for lunch. He explained it to me and he said, have you had these feelings? Has this happened? I thought, oh my God, you know exactly what's been going on inside my brain. I thought anybody could paint. And he said, absolutely not. This is totally different. And he went to a place called the Treffert Center in Wisconsin and figured out that it was something called Acquired Savant Syndrome, which is when you have a traumatic brain injury and you wake up and you have basically hit your head so hard that you uncover latent or hidden ability for a certain skill, mathematics, music, and in my case, it was art. I didn't just break my neck. I hit my head so hard that I actually had a traumatic brain injury. Part of Acquired Savant Syndrome, being diagnosed with it, is having a compulsion to do whatever it is that has been uncovered, your secret talent, if you will, your accidental genius, as they call it. Now, I'm definitely no genius in any way, shape, or form, but I feel the need to paint. So when I wake up, that rush of colors that I get, just makes me think, great, what am I going to paint today? I still don't believe that I'm an artist. I don't, understand it, and I try not to think about it a lot. And I actually, sadly, ask my sister, are you sure that I don't suck? No, are you sure that, this is acquired savant syndrome? I woke up and I was a painter, and she said, this doesn't happen. What you went from stick figure at best to being able to do these interesting, crazy, sort of definitely unique designs does not happen just because you decided to pick up a brush. People say, why don't you mind the depths of your injury? I'm like, fuck that. I lived through it. It was the darkest day of my life. Why do I ever want to mind that to, bring out my creative muse? Don't want to do that, but a lot of artists do. The way that I understand art is a much different approach. You approach art as if it's a joyful thing to do. And my hope is that when you look at my paintings, you'll see that literally they're visual adventures. If I could go back to 5 minutes before the accident, I'd stay there instead of having the accident. However, I realize now that I will have a legacy that I didn't think that I was going to have before the accident. You look at yourself when I'm in my 50s and I've got, a great family and kids and all that, and what's the imprint I'm going to leave in life? And I now believe it's because of my art, but also because of hopefully the way that I've approached this and approached life. My father died when I was 21, right before my senior year in college, and that was devastating. Up until about 6 months ago, it still was a huge cloud over my life because I missed him so much. And, I was treating him as if he were my hero in everything, and that I couldn't live up to his expectations. And then one day I was thinking, you know what? I think I've exceeded his expectations. I think I've done as much as he would have wanted me to, and more. And I started believing in myself in a whole different way. I guess this is about a year ago, in a whole different way, where, I'm finally an adult. Nobody really believes that they're an adult until they're old and have grandchildren. Everybody feels like they're young. I finally felt like I was an adult, and I could handle everything, and I didn't need to live up to anybody's expectations. When I was talking to my physiatrist, he's like, you treat your father as if he's your hero. You should be your own hero. And I thought, I believe I am. And he said, you should think about that. So that's what I do, is I believe that I am my own hero now, and that, every struggle I go through, I can handle. Just because. I don't know. I know so many people would say, well, I can't do that. I don't have that attitude you have. And the answer is yes, you do. You can absolutely do what I do and more. You just have to realize that you can do it and not give up.